resume. It's starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so in the last video we did a rig for this character. So anybody who's watched Janice or Jay or whatever we're calling her, make sure you do that part because you can't do the next part unless you do that part. So what we're gonna be doing is getting this character to walk. He's gonna know how to animate your character, so let's kind of get to it. Right now, we only had one frame of anything, meaning that's just basically a picture. Everything else is blank. We need to extend all of this out, so just to be really easy with that, I'm just gonna shrink this up, or I call it subbing. So everything looks like it's in one layer, and I'm just going to press F5 on my keyboard. Let me just bring up something just so you can see. Bring up this nice little thing here. Then we come back to full view. All right, so it's gonna pop up soon. 1, 2, 3. Where's the thing? All right, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Good. All right, good. So we don't really need to look at the node view anymore for now. We just mainly be looking at the timeline. And if you remember your keyframes for a walk cycle, it works the same way here. All right, give me a second. All right, this is in my way. I'm gonna hide it. Just a few things. Ting, 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 ting. Yes, I'm going away. Yay. Alright, this thing needs to go now. It's annoying. Settings, not click through. Alright, never mind. Alright, back to recording. View, toggle full view. Alright, so we've extended our timeline, so we have the characters shown for at least 60 frames. And basically what we'll be doing is the same stuff that you would do in frame by frame, where you draw your key poses at least first, and then you kind of break it down. That's what we're going to be doing. So right now we are in animate mode. We kind of have the stickman pressed down, which means anytime we do a change, it's going to add a keyframe in our timeline. So what I'm going to be doing is basically doing my keyframes. If you remember when you were breaking down the walk cycle, you would do something like this, where let's say for example, I'll just add a rough layer. You do something like, say for example, your first frame looks something like this. You have a walk cycle, you know, let's say you had that, and then your next pose would look like, you know, your next key pose would basically be coming from there and continuing from there to the next one. Let's say it's switching legs. What we're going to be doing is basically the same thing. We're going to start with the strides first, and then afterwards we're going to go into the crossover, you know, so this first, then this, and then the next stride. So we're going to do the strides first, and then afterwards we're going to do in between that. So let me hide this layer. Alright, so we have our character. Let's get animating. So I'm going to be using the transform tool now, and I'll also be using this. I already have my shortcut set, which is my my little tilde. So I'm pressing this just so you know which one it is. So anytime you see stuff appear and disappear for these, you'll know it's this button that I mean. Alright, so let's start with the legs first. So click on that. We have this. Let's do these strides first. So I'm just going to space this out, rotate this. So I'm not gonna work on the exactness of it. I'm gonna hide the script also D. So let's bring this forward like so. Not too wide. So we start there. I'm probably at 20. I want this keyframe to be the same. Copy, paste that here, and somewhere in between those, I'm gonna do the opposite. So this is gonna come back like so. Doesn't have to come back exactly the same amount. And swap that. Make sure you go on the right deformation for it. So all we have is this to that to this, right? And that basically starts us off. So what we'll be doing afterwards is between those two, we're gonna find where the legs kind of cross together, intersect. And I guess if I had another frame here, we'd have the same thing. So right here, the legs kind of cross over. So I'm gonna add a keyframe there. So F6, 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 that's fine. Here now, with bow here. The leg that comes forward is the leg that we're gonna bend. So this leg here, that comes forward. But here, we're gonna start bending it. So using the deformation, I'm not gonna be dragging this drawing around because that will mess up how my animation looks. You're only touching the deformation once you do rigging. So bend this forward like so. Come on this one. Same tool here, this one. Bend this way. And so what we have is this to that, right? So maybe I'll just bend this a bit more forward. Might be too much, but that's fine. F6. So we have this and this. So let me just make sure this and this is the same. So it looks better. So this to this. And I'll just kind of space that out a bit more. And this one also just a bit, just a smidge. That works. So next is the same thing for the other leg. So I'll just click on this first and then show that. Go to my next frame. Bend this leg forward. Bend and then have that this way. Don't mind this weird looking knee. We're gonna have the skirt to kind of hide it. We could even just push that down like this if we wanted to. But I won't worry about that right now. So we have so far this, and this. And
Yeah, that leg feels a little stiff.
and it's gonna loop. We're not seeing any upward down right now, so don't worry about that just yet. Because I want it to loop, I'm gonna change where my stop is. I'm gonna ask you to stop at frame 21. So stop 21. I'll actually put it at 20 because the first and the last frame are the same. We want it to kind of loop a bit seamless. So we have something like this. And press this button to loop. That might be a bit fast, but we won't worry about that right now. So these are new keys. So I'll press F6 to lock in everything else. So now we do the breakdown of this. So we know between a crossover, a stride and a crossover, or a contact and a passing is the down, what you call recoil, where you kind of come down because you're getting ready to step up on the next leg. So about here somewhere or so, I even call it like this. You would actually have this leg kind of going forward a bit more, while this leg actually seems a bit more perpendicular to the ground, and this one somewhat parallel. Perpendicular, while this bends more like so. And if you want, you can always play around with the toes. So what we get is something like this, right? So we get that down, Let's bend you forward, ma'am. Something like that. And if you need to, you can do this and that, if anything. So we get that and that. So we're gonna notice some weirdness after this. Let's just do the keys first. Apply that, and I'll just do that for the next one too. Have this leg bend forward. And this, yes, I want to save as I go. Bend this down like so. This one, that seems, I guess that feels okay. Yeah, that looks kind of weird. Bend like so, bend like so. So that seems okay. I mean, we'll change the timing afterwards, but we have this. Right, so the only thing that we have a issue now is the up pose. So when we're stepping up now, we want that our toe kind of point. So this leg is going to be going back more, like so, or so, something. This leg is like so. You can stay, but we're going to bend this down and have that toe bend because you're pushing up the toe. And this leg is going to come up a bit more, just a smidge. So if anything, you could have that like so and so. Set that as a key. And another one here. Same thing. We go so. Stretch this down like so. Push up that toe. And we're going to bring this one up just a smidge. And bend this one down like so. I don't even know that was almost just as much as the next, or the previous. But we get something that looks something like this. Let's hide that bone there. So maybe we can adjust some of the timing, but basically you have those keys and you'll notice it kind of does it in between for you. So if needs be, you can adjust the timing. So I'll try giving it even timing to see what it would look like. Space these out. Each one of these, adjust this to here. So to add extra space between your frames, it's either, well, it's plus, and to reduce is minus on the numpad. So let's see what this looks like. And of course, we're having a big problem because this character looks really still. I mean, the legs are moving, but you know, the body isn't going up and down. So that's the next thing you'd work on. So once you have the poses down, then you kind of work on the up and the down. So for example, let's get her to come down. So I could use this same rough layer here as an idea of where the ground is gonna be.
So you do each of the things in one different layer.
So let's say on this one, let's pretend that this line is a floor. Kind of hard to see. Let's change the color a bit. So color, black, and the thickness, I don't know, 5. See it? Yes. So we have this. You see that the legs kind of seem to float up in the air. So what we'll be doing for that is getting the leg, basically clicking on that on the transform tool, and you can actually adjust it with your arrow keys. Shift makes it go down faster. 1 1 1 is fine too. Oh, up. So if you need to adjust anything with the foot, if this needs to bend more or anything, you could do that too. So right now this is going to go up because that foot needs to be on par with the line. And if you need to adjust the foot a bit, you can. And this one, of course, is going to go even higher because you know up, down, up, down. And so what we could actually do is because of those frames, this, this, and then this. For the next set, you could actually have these same keys. So we could actually copy these and paste them on top of these because it's the same up, down, up, down. So it might not be exactly. So we could probably push this foot back while bending this toe. And then that looks like so. And even right here, this toe wasn't bent, so, well, it wasn't bent enough. And so what we get now, even without the line, we get to see that the character kind of goes up and down while she's walking.
Which is good. I mean, that's what people kind of slightly do. Go up and down.
I mean, the timing might be a little weird to us, but that's gonna always be adjusted. You know, more space between some places if needs be. It almost looks like a skip if you ask me, but
It's a partial.
I mean, and afterwards, if you're going through, you just swing the arms in alternate direction. So if you had the arms, and one thing you could also do with the legs is you could actually push them back if you need to while they go, like let's say for example, because it's going this way, could have that go back while this goes forward if you need to, and then that's going to be midpoint. So for push this back, that looks so weird as a drawing, that is. And this one could go forward. And the same stuff. So, but only if you find it looks weird, you could do that. So let's just do the arms. Arms basically simple, the same way. Right now, because we have keyframes here, when we sub it, basically all our layers have keys. So probably for the arms, torso, and our two arms here, what we can do is remove the keyframes for these. That way, we can do the same kind of breakdown we had before. So imagine your arm like so, and this arm's gonna go slightly forward. Imagine there's a shoulder. Let's start from the first frame. Push that forward, bend this way. Other arm, push that back, bend it back, and then basically when it gets to the other side, please don't crash, don't crash. Okay, save. Keyframe here, keyframe there, F6. Oh, this one, wait, the other one doesn't. This is an arm, that is a neck, this is an arm. Alright, this arm needs to be changed. So, delete those keys. Probably could have kept the first one. Remove these. Could even say minus KF here. And for these two keys, we're going to copy them again. Paste. Copy. Paste. And just like before, we'll find that midpoint, or even find the midpoint along the timing and alternate it. So rotate this forward and also push forward. Rotate this backward, not the drawing. Pull that back, push that back. So what we get now is something like this. I mean, the timing stuff feels weird. So the one thing you could do is actually mess around with the timing of your movement. So timing is important. It's one of them principles. So if you click on the keyframe of said arm, and you click on this icon here, it says set ease for multiple parameters. We could simply just change it. So if it starts out slow, then we're gonna have it go fast and then slow again. So when it alternates, for example, you could even put us 50, 50. This could be 50. If you don't want to, I mean, you don't have to. 0, 0. And this one's 50. Apply. So our arm will move a bit more naturally, like so. So it's going back and forth. So, and then afterwards, you just do the skirt, and based on how the skirt is controlled, you basically just have the skirt cover with the legs. So this is what the skirt looks like generally. Still having the up and down because of the main master pick. So all we need to do is go through the keyframes and adjust the points. So that thigh is over here. You can just rotate these like so. So that's one. Pull that up like so. Cover those nasty knees. If you need to do this, bend that down, it's fine. So what we get is something like this now. And then this one will come like so and so. Same stuff. And we just kind of adjust as we need to. So we got this. Obviously this needs fixing too. And this too. Cover that knee. Cover that knee. What's this? What if I did this? Okay. Minus keyframe. Oh no. And you just adjust till you're done. Keyframe by keyframe, you animate this thing. So pull. So so why with a skirt? Because I figure if you don't get a skirt, you won't find much challenge. But feel free to recolor if you need to. It's always fun to do your own colors. You have to do my colors. But up over here, and pull this over here on that knee. Bend this so basically cover that thigh. Just to hide your knees, right? And we just copy that first one back to this one. Back to copy. Back to this. Paste. Okay, there we go. Hide that. And what we basically have as an example. Okay, there's a frame that's weird. No. Won't have that immodest split for no reason. Okay, so we're good now. I think, wait, this part needs a little adjustment. Just, please, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. All right, cool. And we got this. Right? Relatively simple. I mean, if you feel like you wanted to follow through, that's up to you. No, don't feel like it, just do it. It's one of the principles of animation. So that's how you get a character to walk. So that's what we got. And I mean, the eyes have different drawings for switching out. So if you want to blink in there, you could do that too. So I'll just go on the eye layer. And because I did a bunch of different drawings for the eyes, the eyes actually have like blinks. So if you want to do that, you can. So let's go frame by frame, swap these out. The shortcut is the square brackets on the keyboard. Let's hold that close for like 2 frames and then pop that open like so and then bring that back wide and then back again. So no, if you want to do a cycle of this, you just copy these frames, copy them, and because the first and the last are the same, right click and you can paste. Well, you can literally just paste cycle. But I'll just be safe. Just copy, come here, paste, paste. And so what you get is a cycle of animation. You want to make sure that frames are extended so you know you can calculate math wise. And if nothing else, there's one last thing you want to do whenever you do this is right now we're in what they call OpenGL view, meaning it's the stuff without the actual effects. But you also have a render view, and this is what it looks like in render view. So by default, you get a black background. You don't want a black background. So what you can add is either you could be all tedious and create your own background color in a box and then fill it on a different layer, or you can just choose the plus button here and choose a color card. And so the color card by default is white, but if you double click on the star here, which is the layer properties, and click on that box and choose that color that you prefer. I think green is a nice offset. So, and whenever you actually render it out, you get, well, a video with a green background. So you get something that looks sort of like this when you're done. So that's the walk cycle. Thank you for joining us again. Like, share, subscribe.
Bye.
Danik says bye.